This allows me to dismantle a very low IQ content creator by the name of Flip, who has consistently put his foot in his own mouth by thinking that he understands the gacha space more than anybody else, while simultaneously delivering the most bad faith arguments because he's been brainwashed by his own chat. And if you want more proof that he's been completely brainwashed by his own chat, he is a creator who has made multiple hit pieces, including one on me many years ago that I went and I talked to him about many years ago when we had to deal with the whole, actually, my name's Sullivan Artist, and I don't appreciate you bullying Flip because he's my gay boyfriend, and I can't believe that you'd attack him that way. When he made the video, The King of Misconceptions, Tectone Genshin Court, which got 2.3 thousand likes, because this guy can shill out any type of retarded ass slop and get more likes than dislikes because he's saying Genshin is good. Because this guy, and I'm sorry, Flip, I mean, you even reached out to me because you said, oh, I don't want you to think this is a hit piece on anybody. It very clearly is. If you don't understand the repercussions of your own actions, I don't know what to tell you. I'm assuming, and I mean this, I don't mean this as an insult, I have to think that you are severely autistic, because anybody, and I mean anybody, who did not have a mental illness or was a complete fucking retard would understand how negative your videos are in this space when you speak with such assurance and you have no proof over anything you say. You straw man nonstop. You ad hominem nonstop. And the worst thing is, I don't even think that you know what these words fucking mean. Your bad faith arguments are in totality, and I want to show you this. This video that is universally getting shit on by everybody else who's not you, but your audience is so brainwashed to be Genshin pilled, they're still gonna like this in majority. They supported this video. Within the first 2 minutes, you made 3 complete lies off rip, which I would react to. I got 8 minutes into reacting to your video, by the way, Flip, and I rage quit because I was like, this guy is too retarded for his own good, and I actually deem you beyond logic. I thought you were cool a year ago. I thought we water under the bridge, but once again, you gotta be retarded. If I were you, Flip, and you wanted anybody to take you seriously, if you wanted any goodwill in this community, you would, 1, stop making character critiques as someone who's severely autistic. I challenge you to go to a fucking psychiatrist or a doctor and say, hey, am I retarded? Can you check? You will not post those results because I know you are mentally ill. And I mean this so assuredly. You need to delete your videos calling out other creators because you're not smart enough to do that. You're not. You are a fucking moron. Straight up. Stop talking about shit you don't know about. Unless you're doing this intentionally to farm more Genshin good boy points, but then your newest video only got 1/10 of the views anything else got anyways. So there's probably a reason why nobody outside your own bubble is ever gonna want to interact with you. You should put out an apology for the harm that you've done and cease this shit immediately. And I'm gonna say this one more time because you need to hear it. You are so fucking dumb. You need to stop engaging in critical content like this because you are not smart enough to do it. And I'm saying this multiple times because hopefully repetition will get to you and that you will understand that what I'm saying is real shit. I'm gonna watch Glaive's video on this. It's 25 minutes. I'm gonna speed it up. But yeah, this shit is just embarrassing, bro. It really is. Because I'm getting to the point where I've been dealing with this community for 6.5 years. And with people like Mr. Pokey who are constantly reinforcing their communities to do horrible fucking shit. Fob Master thankfully corrected his community. People like Zyox and Zadjeff constantly reinforcing people to do this shit. And now you have Flip reinforcing more people to do this shit. It's just take the fucking L, move on, admit that you're wrong. It's okay to show weakness, delete the fucking videos, and go forward without Papa Tectone having to daddy up and tell you what to do to save your own career. Y'all motherfuckers who I just named are going to be the product of your own disaster. You will not have any career in 2 years. You will have none unless you just stick to sucking Hoyo's dick daily. That is all you are good for. So if you cannot acknowledge this, if you want to stay slaves to Hoyo for the rest of your life, go ahead. Do whatever you want. But if there is anything that you want to do this long term, you would delete your videos and you would apologize and take some accountability without a fucking sub goal. Let's keep going here.
So apparently, I have ruined the Genshin community.
What?
Yeah, me. According to this hour-long call-out video, which, mind you, features my face and Saint Tontas' face plastered on a thumbnail like we're public enemy number 1. I am not just wrong, I am dangerous. I'm a manipulator. I am poisoning the community. I am single-handedly making people quit the game by sharing my opinions. Now, don't get me wrong, criticism.
Here's a nice little fact. If you think criticism and negativity is actually destroying your games, what's crazy is it's actually helping it. Case in point, and I would love for any Genshin Impact content creator to disagree with me and say that I'm lying. Official Hoyoverse staff have said, regardless of my negative content about the game, I am still the #1 person who brings the most new players into Genshin Impact. And that's a fact, by the way. And you want to know why that is? Is because these other content creators who think they're so beneficial, all you all do is you feed into your positive echo chamber over and over and over and over again, and you're not bringing new players in, you're just making the fan base more retarded. I'm the only gacha creator who's actually breaking out into mainstream in this entire space. Nobody else has done it. No one. Not a single one. Zero. Totally. Fucking zero. Zero other creators have broken out into the mainstream. None of them. Absolutely none of them. And because I provide critical content, not hate content, when I say Genshin is bad or Genshin is good, due to me being critical of the game, I bring in more players than any other gacha creator in the space. And the reason why that is because people want legitimacy. People want authenticity. And when you provide them with that, then they can make their own comment or a rationale on whether they want to play the game or not, rather than just saying, Genshin good, Genshin good, Genshin good, Genshin good. Because when your content has no nuance, people can tell that the content creator who made it has no brain cells. And that's the truth.
Is fine. If someone disagrees with my take, cool, it happens all the time. But what we're dealing with here isn't just a disagreement, it is misrepresentation. It is cherry-picked clips. It's straight up misinformation presented as fact, framed around this cartoon villain version of me that doesn't actually exist. So today we're going to walk through this thing point by point. I will show you what was said, what was actually said, and why this entire video is just one long bad faith attempt to villainize people who criticizes Genshin. Let's get into it. So Flip opens his video saying he wants to start a discussion about gacha tribalism, specifically from the POV of a long-time Hoyoverse player. Fair enough, he thinks the community is going downhill because creators are stoking toxicity, hyping up imaginary enemies, and turning viewers into rage bait machines just for clicks. He even flat out calls himself a Hoyo shill and says he is here to defend Hoyoverse. What a noble cause. He also talks about how we deserve better content in the gacha space. Less lying, more honesty, fewer dumb gacha wars, more peace and understanding. He claims that the space has—
If he wants less lying and more honesty, then why did Flip say he's never made a video shitting on Wuthering Waves? And then St. Tontas' community used the Wayback Machine and found a deleted video of his where he's shitting on Wuthering Waves and saying Wuthering Waves will never be as good as Genshin Impact. You want to know why? Because these people are fucking liars, guys. They're fucking frauds, they're liars, and they are willing to do anything to earn a couple bucks from the Hoyoverse community. And that's the bottom line.
Always been toxic, but that Wuthering Waves and Natlan somehow crank things up to a whole new level.
Genshin has been around for the longest, in which it's had its fair share of extremely toxic discourse over its years, but ever since the release of Wuthering Waves, as well as Natlan, I feel like it's been taken to a whole other level.
Okay, so let me jump in. First of all, you might hear me jokingly call myself a Kurobot. That is fine. At this point, it is basically a badge of honor with how often people throw it at me. But here is the key difference. You will never catch me lacking, proudly standing on a podium saying I defend Kuro games. Hell no, I don't even stand my own government, let alone a game dev. What I do is correct misinformation. I set the record straight. I am not here running PR for Kuro, and I'm not gonna lie to—
It's also like a joke. That's why people who get upset of being called a Kurobot or a Hoyo shill are just weak pussies who can't handle any fucking criticism whatsoever. And in the same vein are getting advice from Hoyoverse on how to do their own content. It's like, sorry that someone properly labeled you. That doesn't mean that you get to be upset over it.
Protect them. That is corny as hell. Now about the whole you guys are using your audience by keeping them angry thing,
and how a lot of creators in the space are using you and keeping you angry at nothing and nobodies, whilst they benefit from all the engagement and attention.
Do you realize that same logic applies to your video too? I could flip that on you and say, hey Flip, aren't you riling people up against creators? Aren't you saying we're lying to viewers and think that they're dumb just to farm outrage and build engagement? If I'm using my audience, then what do you call making a whole hour video ranting at a straw man of angry Kuro defenders? And look, let's not act like you're new to this. The top 8 most popular videos in your channel, half of them are you calling people out. In this video that I'm responding to, the top performer out of your last 10, you are eating good off the drama slop, just like the rest of us. Let's not pretend you're some moral high ground samurai slicing through the toxicity with truth and honor.
Thanks for the
You are in
ADD
the pit
slop.
with the rest of us. Now, about the claim that Wuthering Waves and Natlan made things worse than before, that is just not true. What if the reason you're only feeling that because the dynamic has shifted? Genshin doesn't have the monopoly anymore. We have real competition now. Multiple games are on the table, and some of them are doing what Genshin refused to do for years. And that power shift, that sting that you're feeling, that is not new toxicity. That is just you realizing that Genshin isn't untouchable anymore. And for the record, Genshin discourse has always been hell. Remember the anniversary meltdown?
Oh, I like this shit, how it's going to like 720p. That was nice. That's a nice little effect. I like that.
Let's start with the most creative and wholesome approach to this, which was spamming the Discord with Chi-Chi stickers laying down, right? Prompting the moderators to enable slow mode. You can only post a message every 10 minutes because the spam was ridiculous. And the great thing about this is that they can't delete it because they made the sticker, right? Which is very creative.
Remember Zhongli pre-buff? Don't gaslight people into thinking Wuthering Waves is the reason the space is wild now. The space has always been wild. You just don't like the fact that Genshin is no longer the center of it. Now this is where Flip really starts throwing accusations. According to him,
people always want to act like Wuthering Waves caused all the issues, when in reality, the Genshin people are just so fucking pathetic. They feuded within a company made by the same developers. It was Honkai Star Rail that started the Genshin Could Never meme, not Wuthering Waves.
Everything started with basic comparisons between Wuthering Waves and Genshin. You know, the normal stuff. Who does the exploration better? Who has the better combat? That kind of thing. But then apparently, me and St. Tontus came in and poisoned the well, championing hatred towards Hoyoverse as a way to protect Wuthering Waves from criticism. His words, not mine.
First, there was just comparisons from both sides of the games talking about which aspects of each they thought the games did better, but then there have been two creators in particular that have pretty much championed hatred towards Hoyoverse as a way to shield criticisms from Wuthering Waves. Those creators being St. Tontus and Glaive Kyo. The bulk of both of these creators' channels is just being overly critical of Hoyoverse games and its players, as a way to give criticism about the games they once loved.
And then he hits me.
The reason why you have to be overly critical of Hoyoverse games is because every creator is overly positive. You have to counterbalance it. Because there's too many creators that are overly positive, which means if you only go like 10% power, 20% power, then all of their little fucking yes men soldiers are going to come invade your comments because they think that you can be faltered. So you have to go full dick. Otherwise, you have to deal with all of the fucking rats from the fucking Genshin community. That's just how it goes, man. You have to be overly critical because you cannot show weakness whatsoever, because if they do, they're going to be brigading every single post that you do.
With this laundry list of reasons why I apparently have no right to criticize Genshin.
If you seem unsure, they're going to try to exploit that as much as they possibly can.
Says I don't even play the game anymore, and uses the fact that I got my Genshin gameplay footage from other YouTubers as proof.
Now for Glaive Kyo, my proof for him not really playing the game is going to come from the fact that all his gameplay is seemingly just stolen from other channels. Searching one of the UIDs in one of these videos leads me to this channel, where the creator isn't credited in the video.
Also brings up a stream title I did, hate watching the 5.6 livestream, and a clip of me reacting to the new artifact reroller, trying to paint the whole thing as me just foam at the mouth hating on the game to farm views and appeal to anti-Genshin viewers. First of all, the daily commission point, that is an L on my part. I came back for the Natlan stuff, I played for a bit, and I didn't even notice the 4.8 change. I said in my video, Hoyoverse is still making the Traveler run around deliver food. It was because that was the daily commission that I was getting. It was immersion breaking, and it looks like my editor put an event graphic on screen. But what I really meant was the fetch quest daily missions. My bad. It wasn't me trying to lie. I genuinely didn't clock it. But I hope that doesn't mean you throw out everything else I said in that video, because I stand by the rest of the criticisms. Second, yeah, the gameplay footage wasn't mine. I have editors. I told them, use Genshin gameplay in the background, and they pulled footage from somewhere. I didn't really care where it came from. I didn't think twice about it. That is just B-roll. But the fact that you tracked down the UID to try and disprove me is a little bit weird. But hey, I respect the hustle. That is dedication. Now for this, they don't even play the game argument. I played Genshin for 4 years. Do you think I magically unlearned all my criticisms the moment I uninstalled it? The things that made me quit are still.
Oh, you played 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.5, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, 4.1, 4.2. Oh, but you didn't play 4.4, the latest patch? You're a tourist! You've never played the game in your entire life! You're a fucking tourist! Bro doesn't even know Genshin! Does that sound familiar, guys? Because that's what they say. Because that's what they say. Yep.
In the game today. You want me to name them? There is still no skip button. You still gotta go to Catherine to get your commission rewards. There is still no working artifact loadout system until now. And even now it is half-baked. Still no remote crafting. No resin overflow. The day-gated domains. Tell me, which one of those got fixed after I quit? It's none of them. Genshin is a 5-year-old game. It shouldn't still be taking steps in the right direction. At this point, it should be sprinting. But here you are, Flip, celebrating it for finally doing what Wuthering Waves did in under a year. Flip says that you can't criticize something you don't play. No, you can't criticize something you don't understand.
You can't criticize this shit sandwich until you eat it. You can't look at it and go, that tastes bad. No, you have to taste it. I poo-pooed in this sandwich, and you can't tell me that it doesn't taste good until you try it, because how would you know? Maybe my shit tastes really good, or maybe I'm just good at identifying shit without touching it.
I understand Genshin intimately, painfully, and that's why I can criticize it. That is why my takes come from a place of actual disappointment, not clout chasing. And as for your claim that I'm just trying to appeal to my confirmation bias, that Genshin does nothing right, the clip you pulled of me reacting to the artifact reroller, you took that way out of context. I actually think that the system is fantastic. You can prioritize 2 substats, getting 2 guaranteed rolls within those 2 substats. That is better than what most gacha games offer. But my reaction? That was because it rolled double flat defense.
Oh my god, it's like being able to resurrect an artifact.
Oh, you see that? You see that? You see that? Now shut the fuck up. It got prioritized. It still went to double defense. This game could fucking die. Fuck this game. Fuck this game. It got prioritized.
What?
This game could fucking die. Fuck this game.
What? English, motherfucker! Do you speak it? Yes. Then you know what I'm saying. Yes.
It still went to double defense.
What? Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say.
And let's be real.
The majority of issues from Genshin players comes from their autistic traits of just not understanding humor. They just weaponize their own misunderstanding of what a joke is, and then they get upset about it. It's so fucking embarrassing.
Anyone who plays
It
this
is.
game
It's
knows that pain.
humiliating.
That is not
I don't know
hating.
how
That
they
is just
look at
being human.
themselves.
How else do you
Would
want
be
me to
that-
react? Genuinely asking. It went double defense. Like, what do you want me to
What even the word is for it? Intentionally obtuse.
do? You say that I'm not going in with an open mind, that I'm just digging stuff to hate on, but you're doing the exact same thing to me. You looked at my stream titles, hate watching the Genshin livestream. Fair, the title sounds loaded, but what you didn't show your audience was the actual stream.
My god,
I'm gonna say
you
it
make
now.
sound like you're in prison.
I'm going back to
Anyway,
Genshin
You also
5.8.
mentioned something about
I'm going back.
targeted artifact
I'm going back.
enhancement
I have watched every single Genshin livestream since 1.2. I always hope the new patch will impress me, and in that stream where I hate watched Genshin livestream 5.7, I said that I plan to play it. I was excited, I just didn't make a video about it. You judged the book by its cover. You took a clip out of context and let it fuel your narrative that I'm some bitter Wuthering Wave stan here to hate for content. But I have never once shielded Kuro games from criticism. I called them out when things sucked. I called them out when things needed change. And I have seen Saint do the same. Maybe you missed those videos, or maybe you just didn't care to include them. And I'm sure you did that for good reasons.
I mean, I'm building my PC. My PC's almost built, so then I'll be able to play WoW so I can make fun of it.
Why do you play a game? Why are you going to go into the game with the attitude of, I'm going to make fun of it? Why not go in with like a better attitude? That's a bad attitude you have.
Because the WoW community is annoying.
Did they bully you? You're spite driven.
me.
In Spider-Man 2, you're able to web sling and fly all over the place with web wings at lightning fast speeds, because the objectives in the Spider-Man open world are at different levels of verticality, and some of the activities like chasing cars involve you having to move at these speeds, so it makes sense why the traversal in this game is like this. But when you get to a game like Elden Ring, this is the most of your exploration experience. Look at this bullshit! Why is my Tarnish not able to fly and grapple up these buildings? Why don't I get power-ups that allow Torrents to jump indefinitely? From Software clearly doesn't respect you or your time as a player if they think you're going to be okay with this.
Either way, this
Oh my God. No, this guy's actually just full-blown retarded. Brother, Flip, your YouTube videos are public, man. Because here's the thing that low-tier content creators do. They just assume that they can talk all this shit and claim that, oh yeah, I never did this, I never did that. Until one person is so deranged, they're like, okay, let me just watch all of your shitty videos then. And I promise you, it never ages well. But Saint Tontas using the Wayback Machine to expose him even more was the icing on the cake. I hope that's in this video.
This narrative that we're just using Hoyover's hate to deflect, that is not the full story, and you know it. So Flip keeps the energy going by saying the funniest thing about me and Saint Tontas is that we are constantly getting things wrong, specifically because live streams don't show the full picture of an update, which is fair. If we didn't already know that. Then he pulls up an older video where Saint Tontas reacted to my video, specifically the one where I called 5.4 a filler patch, and talked about how Genshin's filler patches have only gotten worse over time. He uses this video as some kind of masterclass in shallow criticism and says we misrepresent the community, like we are just cherry-picking bad takes and ignoring the full spectrum of player sentiment.
Saint Tontas made a video reacting to Glave's video calling 5.4 a filler patch and explaining how Genshin is making them worse over time. So let's go ahead and use this video to show how shallow the criticisms given are, as well as how much these people love to misrepresent the community. Most story quests in Genshin are around 2 to 3 hours long or shorter, which seems to be about the same length as most companion quests in WoW. Quests released could have simply been put off because people are busy in real life.
His first piece of proof, a Reddit post I referenced. He says that it had less than 1,000 upvotes in one of the biggest gaming subreddits, and
Like how also he said, well, it's the same length as a character quest in WoW. Yeah, but the thing about quests in WoW versus quests in Genshin is WoW condenses their quest to be like 2.5 hours of good, important things happening. Genshin has 8 hours of people doing fucking nothing, or 2 hours of people doing fucking nothing, and then a cool 2-minute cutscene. That's the huge difference.
then makes a snarky jab about how I probably cut
Dude, I was even watching Bran play Skirk's story quest this morning. I was in his chat. You can check the logs. And even he the lover of Genshin Story was complaining about Skirk's Quest because it just makes you do useless shit. And he was doing the same training part for Skirk for 30 minutes straight. And he was just like, yeah, I get it. I've already done this 3 times. Anyways, let's keep going here.
that part out for totally good reasons.
First, it has less than 1,000 upvotes in one of the biggest gaming subreddits, which I'm sure Glaive cuts out for totally good reasons.
Ah, shit. Had to go again.
Okay, so yes, I do have a good reason. I have editors. I don't personally crop out Reddit upvote counts like it's some kind of war crime, but even if I did include it, I wouldn't have cared. Because guess what? A post having fewer upvotes doesn't make it invalid. Just like how your video having 30,000 plus views doesn't magically make your arguments airtight. Numbers is not the truth. But since you clearly love scoreboard watching, here is one for you. Mugen made a post that got over 700,000 views, 19,000 likes, and over 1,000 retweets. And guess what the comment section was flooded with? Some people begging for filler patches. Some even praised Genshin for having dry patches because it lets them catch up and breathe. So is it valid now? Or are we only allowed to cite Reddit if the like count passes your personal approval rating? And then he tries to discredit the Reddit post again by saying it's a year old and literally titled unpopular opinion.
Second, it's from a year ago, which if this was the only example you could find, shows how this isn't a sentiment widely accepted in the community. And the title of the Reddit post is literally unpopular opinion because it goes against what a majority of the community thinks, because they were busy with real life stuff.
Flipperoonie, Mr. Former Minor, the filler patch debate has been going on since the first time it happened. You can go watch old Tectone videos from 1.x. The same exact conversation happens every time Genshin slows down. There is always a focal group saying, I need this break so everyone else should too. Just because the Reddit post is a...
I would like to say, you know, no hate to all Genshin players. I do have a roommate who still plays Genshin, and they are a well-versed member of society. They are. They're completely functioning, they're normal, and they're one of the loveliest people I've ever met. I'm not going to say who it is. But they're amazing.
The year old doesn't mean the debate is. Some arguments are timeless, especially when the game is still dealing with the same problems. And then he hits me with, if you actually read the Reddit post, and then goes on to cite the Reddit post, which, bro, did you even watch my video? Because literally,
it's not genocide.
in the first minute, I showed that post and said exactly what it is. Players who hate filler patches, and players who are thankful for them. And you even played a part of it in your video, and then acted like I didn't say it. What are we doing here? He also jumps on Saint Tonsus for talking about long Genshin story quest, and says, actually, Wuthering Waves has similar story quest lengths, and like, okay, I never said it was a length problem. I like long story content. I do. What I don't like is the yap fest, with walls of dialogue that lead nowhere, boring NPC quest, and characters taking 5 minutes to say something that could have been said in a single text box, and then Paimon repeats all of it. I am not asking for short, I am asking for engaging.
Something's in my ass.
I don't think that's a hard concept to grasp. And then Flip defends the new Natlan designs and aesthetics by saying, actually, there are lore reasons, because ancient dragons were so close to the region and blah 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 blah. Sure, lore reasons. But here's the thing, just because there's a lore reason doesn't mean it is good writing. You are telling me we waited years for the war-focused nation.
Thank you, by the way. You just don't understand the lore. That's why you didn't appreciate this 18-hour story quest that could have been summarized in 5 minutes. It's for the lore. You needed to know about these little plant guys. You needed to know about the plants. You need to know the lore. No, we don't. So I'm glad Wuwa doesn't explain every bit of lore. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, so they're bad guys? Do you want to know why they're bad? No, not really. I just get it. All right, they're bad. You got it. The Threnodians are bad. Sure, man. Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Only to get dinosaur Disneyland, latex bike suits, roller skating DJs. When we showed up to...
Am I wrong with you? This is like the Special Olympics. No matter who wins, they're both retarded. No, I actually think Glaive's actually pretty smart. Nah, I think Glaive has a pretty good head on his shoulders, to be honest.
Natlan, we didn't find conflict. We found dance parties. You can slap whatever justification you want on it, but it still clashes wildly with everything this region was marketed to be. You can't sell a nation as the one defined by conflict and raw power, the nation of war, and then drop us into Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and go, wait, there is lore for it. That is not fixing the problem. That is just coping. It is a fact that a lot of people were disappointed by the Natlan reveal. It is not just Saint. It is not just me. Go scroll through social media, Reddit, even the YouTube comment sections of your own peers. There is genuine fatigue with the direction of this game, and pretending it doesn't exist just because you don't feel that way, that is not honesty, isn't it?
I'm gonna Twitter something. I looked up Genshin doesn't feel the same. There's a lot of players who are very disgruntled with the game. Now let's also look up Genshin sucks now. Let's see. This is how many people have specifically typed out the phrase Genshin sucks now. Genshin bad. Let's try Genshin bad. Okay, well, that's Ganyu shitting herself. And that's Todoroki being transferred to black. Ooh, what? Oh, there we go. I think we got to the load limit. But yeah, there's a lot of people who are very upset with the game state. It's just common knowledge at this point.
Used their former minor? So Flip plays this clip from my older video where I said, people say filler patches give us time to catch up. No, that is just hoping. These updates aren't designed to respect your time, they're designed to waste it. And then he pauses and goes, how does any of this apply to the game? Well, Flip, if you actually watch my video instead of—
Oh, and by the way, I don't think anybody typing that shit on Twitter means anything. I was just kind of just doing what Flip does, where he says, well, this Reddit post has a bunch of upvotes, which means that's how everybody feels. Okay.
hunting for a soundbite, you would realize
it's just ridiculous. You can find anybody feeding into any narrative you want.
That clip comes from the first 3.5 minutes. The section before I even get into 5.4. That part is me talking about filler patches as a concept, not 5.4 directly.
Your intellect is as weak as your dollar. Failure is your destiny. You are made of stupid.
The video even has bookmarks. You had the tools to understand the context, you just didn't care.
You don't actually have to spend real money to obtain a C0 Varessa, Muulani, Kinich, or Shilonin. They're all strong characters in the meta as well, and you can just grind the primogems you need to obtain them, like you would with any other character in the game.
Todo peinado porque no me dio tiempo nada ponerme la chancla y el bañador. Voy a la playa, había subido la marea. ¡Asómate, mira dónde llega el agua! ¡Llegaba el agua sobrenatural! ¡Había subido la marea!
And then you hit me with, you can't assess a patch before it's—
Let's do some math here real quick. So he said you can just pull these three characters. All right, so you would need 160 times 180 times 3. Yeah. You would need 86,400 primo gems at worst to be able to get all three of those characters. And when one patch gives you 9,000, yeah, man, just have fun waiting 12 fucking patches to get all that.
out. Okay, it is true in theory, but let's not act like
just
5.4
grind every
was some
primo gem
mysterious
for a year and then you'll
box.
get them.
Between the live stream, event previews, and how Genshin structures its roadmap, we already knew what kind of patch this was gonna be. And guess what? I was right. Even though you sing praises of how good 5.4 actually was, let's bring in the numbers you conveniently ignored. February 2025, Genshin 5.4 was released. In that same month, lowest peak viewer count in the game's entire history, minus 32% in average viewership. And those banners? Mizuki and Sijuini, lowest banner sales of all time. Record-breaking lowest revenue of all time. So you say I poisoned the community's view of the patch, but it looks like I reflected what was already happening. You can blame me for doom posting, but what about the people who actually stopped playing? 5.4 was so great, you said, but did you just pretend Realm of Tempered Valor didn't exist? You know, the Did You Wish Were My Week event. That thing was so overtuned, it needed a tutorial just to unlock the name card. And before you start talking about skill issues, what skill? The ability to farm enough cracked units and artifacts to meet stat checks? Why not give trial characters so it's actually skill-based and not a test of—
By the way, for all you guys who don't know what the word best or max or worst means, Second Poco will be live in 2 hours, and maybe you can ask him.
Spending money, luck, or burnout grinding. And then Flip went on to say that 5.7 is one of the best patches Genshin has ever had, and tries to use that as proof that I am just performative and I'm not interested in positive updates because I didn't make a video on it. Well, where's your 5.7 video? Are you performing too? Your whole channel is performative because where is the glazing video? Me, I haven't covered 5.7 yet because of real life reasons. Unfortunately, I have a life and that brings a debuff in my career. But I am planning to play the patch first once it goes live before I actually judge the game. Because here's the reality. That same glaive you called out for judging patches before they drop was the glaive Kyo 3 months ago. He learned, he waited, he adapted. Because yes, I used to scream and rant about this stuff, but these days, if you watch the recent videos, I only go full on crash out mode when it is actually warranted. I have matured. I have learned to be better, even if it's only a little bit. Can you say the same thing, Flip? I don't think so. You are still the same guy that called out Tectone 3 years ago and
brother still says hello at the start of his videos. Jesus. Like bro was living in the 2004 RAR era of Gaia Online.
Leaving out context that doesn't support your narrative. Now onto the fishing minigame in Wuwa. You said that I was defending it. Where? Literally where? I never said it needed defending. I just explained how it works. You are making up fake arguments just to discredit me. Also, this whole TCG thing, you are clowning Wuwa content creators saying we will praise their version of a TCG while hating on Genshin's TCG. Oh, it is the same event, but because—
It's because this one's actually good and well made and the Genshin TCG sucked ass.
Because it is on Wuwa, they get praise, but because it is in Genshin, they're gonna hate on it. Beep, 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 beep.
Except you didn't even bother to check what Wuwa was actually adding. It is not a TCG, it is closer to teamfight tactics with card-based visuals. You keep calling my takes bad faith assumptions, but your entire video is full of half-context quotes, fake claims, and straight-up misinformation. You want to hold creators like me to a standard, it's okay, but at least follow your own rules. Rules for thee, but not for me. Spoken like a true Hoyo shill. So Flip's whole next argument is basically, these creators never liked Genshin to begin with, and even if the game improves, they will just say it is too late. They lie about caring. Their negativity scares off potential returning players, and that creates a cycle of
Do you want to know why creators say it's too late to fix Genshin? Because it is. They would have to retroactively go back and remove 90% of the dialogue from the fucking game, which they won't do. The changes that we've been asking for that you guys are getting so excited about that you're getting in fucking like patch like 5.6 or wherever the fuck we're at now should have been implemented in 1.2. Yeah, it is way too late to save Genshin. It's a pile of shit and it's not changing. It'll never fucking change. You want to know why? Because mindless dumb fucks consume the content regardless because they're too stupid to understand what a good game is.
Information.
Can you imagine if someone fell off in Genshin towards like the end of Sumeru, and when they wanted to get back into Genshin they see a video like this? A video filled with so much doom posting and lies and misinformation. They would never want to touch the game because they don't think it's progressed ever, and then they can go on to part this information, fueled by any of the feelings they may have had when they left the game.
Quit that gay shit. Anyways, I don't know if your sign company is reliable.
Oh my god, what if somebody really wants to get back into Genshin Impact and they see the video and then they get scaled? And then they never get to hang out with Paimon ever again. Can you imagine that? What if they get really scared because what he said? Bro, shut up. Like, do we just hear the way this guy talked about Genshin? Bro, this is a video game, not a real human. I want you to listen to this again and remember, this is a video game he's talking about.
A cycle of misinformation.
Can you imagine if someone fell off in Genshin towards like the end of Sumeru, and when they wanted to get back into Genshin they see a video like this? A video filled with so much doom posting and lies and misinformation. They would never want to touch the game because they don't think it's progressed ever, and then they can go on to part this information, fueled by any of the feelings they may have had when they left the game.
Quit that gay shit. Anyways, I don't know.
They'll never play Genshin again. They'll never play it. It would ruin their life. Bro, shut up, man.
If your sign company is reliable, it's to check their lead time.
Who the hell are you to decide who cares about a game? You think just because I criticize Genshin, I don't care about it? That is lazy. That is projection. And frankly, that is a reach so far. Your shoulders dislocated. I care about Genshin enough to keep making videos about it. I care enough to call out the problems when it's safer not to. I care enough to want it to improve, even when the developers clearly don't seem to be listening. And you're gonna go post again, saying I'm incentivized for money, for hating Genshin. Oh, it's a meta. I get more views talking about Wuwa. Why would I make Genshin videos if I don't care? Don't mistake criticism for hate, because if I didn't care, I would just leave. I would just make Wuwa videos. I would just go play literally anything else and never mention this game again. But that is not gonna.
And here's the other thing. The reason why a lot of creators talk about Genshin, even though they're never going to play it again, is because whenever Genshin puts in a new malpractice into their game, the problem is that so many devs are just like, okay, we're going to do what Genshin does. So voicing our concerns whenever a new bad practice is put in Genshin is very important to do because we don't want that in other games. And whenever Genshin does something good, then we'll praise it in Genshin because we know people are using that as the blueprint for the other game. Because Genshin was the first big game to break the mainstream, and now Wuthering Waves is the second. Right? So we're hoping that people can learn from the good and avoid the bad.
Gonna happen because I care about the game. I am still here. And you want to talk about scaring people away from the game. Ooh, Okay, what scared them more? Me saying that the patch is dry or the game being dry? Let's talk real world example, okay? There is a huge content creator, I'm not gonna say who, but if you know, you know. Genuinely hyped up to play Genshin Impact. He gives Genshin a shot after playing Wuthering Waves and he taps out in 3 hours. Straight up said Wuwa is better in every aspect. Are you gonna blame me for that too? So what is your story now, Flip? Are you gonna keep pointing fingers at content creators forever? Or are you ever gonna turn that energy towards the actual devs? Have I seen a video about you criticizing Genshin Impact devs? No, I don't think so. I see. Okay. I'm gonna remind you, Genshin is a multi-billion-dollar franchise. They have the money, the team, the data, and yet basic player requests, stuff that we have been shouting about since Mondstadt, still gets ignored. I have made a whole video titled, After 5 years, Genshin players are still begging for these fixes. I hope you give this video a watch and tell me, Flip, which one of those fixes actually happened? Spoiler alert, none of them. You think I'm stopping people from returning? No, man. The game itself is. But I'm the villain because I said it out loud? Nah. I am done playing scapegoat for a company that rakes in record-breaking revenue and gives crumbs back. If that makes me negative, fine. At least I am honest. If you want Genshin to grow, you should start holding the people who can actually make that happen accountable. Finally, you call me out for calling Jeff out of all people a hoyo.
Jesus Christ. You know this guy likes kids, bro. Like, you just know it. Like, when this guy's hard drive gets leaked, man, you just know. You just know, man. It's so bad.
Social, when in your opinion he is not. And for everyone still watching this far, you already know the pattern by now. No context, there's no nuance, just look at the thumbnail, look at the title, ignore the actual points made, and then fire off a 1-hour call-out video like it's a court case. But let's talk about that Zajev video. What did he actually say? His entire take was basically, they copied the things I hate about Genshin, so I'm not playing Wuthering Waves, while still playing Genshin. How does that make it?
That's a pretty fucked thing to say. All right, Revless, here we go. Some guy said it's a pretty fucked thing to say. You think I'm out of line for saying that he looks like a pedophile? That guy has been backseating my content creation career, my marriage, and my personal life for 4 years. And then he goes on Twitter and calls me, not an alleged criminal, brother goes online and says that I'm a rapist and hopes that I go to jail. So if you get upset on me saying that bro looks like a pedophile and his hardware is corrupt, understand I wouldn't have said that if he didn't come at me first. There's history. It's all right. You're now informed.
Any sense, Flip? That is the exact definition of what I meant by Hoyo Shill behavior. He might not be a Hoyo Shill to you, but in that video, he definitely acted like a Hoyo Shill. Now don't get it twisted. I'm not saying Zajev is the biggest Genshin bootlicker alive.
Yeah, no, he's just a pedophile. Yeah, Zajev 77, that's how many victims he's had. All right, cool, let's keep going.
It's not even close. Because honestly, Flip, I think you might hold that title. Zajev just gave an L take, and that kind of pissed me off, and I move on. But you, on the other hand, made a full-length expose trying to frame criticism as evil. You blame people like me for Genshin's bad reception. Like this game isn't run by one of the most resourced studios in the industry. You spent more time dissecting my tone than the actual issues that I brought up. That is not defending the game anymore. That is defending a brand. And that is where the real problem lies. So Flip, you made an hour-long video to call me a liar, a villain, a manipulator, poisoning the community with doom posting. And for what? Because I criticized a dry patch? Because I pointed out systems that have been broken for years? Because I dared to compare 2 games? Oh. And in doing that, you lied. You took clips out of context. You ignored entire sections of my video. Chapters clearly labeled, by the way, and built this Frankenstein version of me that only exists in your head. You accused me of harming the community, but you are the one creating a culture where criticism equals treason, where calling out a billion-dollar company is seen as more dangerous than the company never listening in the first place.
Man, can you imagine another creator being labeled as a toxic piece of shit because they were giving a company constructive criticism that needed it? Man, I've never heard that story before.
You say I deter people from playing Genshin, but if one video is enough to make someone quit, maybe the game had a retention problem before I showed up. You call me performative, while sitting on a throne of bad faith arguments, misquotes, and reaction bait, pretending you are defending the game when really, you are just defending your feelings. And the irony, you accuse me of not playing the game. You never gave me credit where it's due, and not talking about improvements. But when it comes to my actual recent content, the stuff where I do praise Hoyoverse for good changes, where I do reflect, where I do evolve, you completely ignore all of it. Because you were never interested in the truth, you just wanted a villain. And here I am, Glaive Keo. I am convenient. But here is the difference between you and me. I don't need to twist your words to prove a point. I let the data speak. And most importantly, I'll let people decide for themselves. No echo chambers, no cult-like purity test for liking a game, just honest critique, good or bad. So Flip, if you're done turning people into scapegoats to avoid looking at the real problem, maybe we can finally have a real conversation about Genshin's future. Although after this bad faith video, I don't think I ever want to talk to you anymore. But anyways, that is all from me, Glaive Keo, and I will see you in the
Yeah, the problem is, Glaive, also your video's ratio fucking bodied this ass. The problem is that Flip is retarded, Glaive. You shouldn't entertain him with the conversation. Yeah, it's pretty much it. We'll just shit on him for a while until he deletes his fucking videos or get an apology, right? That's pretty much just how it goes. These people are beyond reasoning with, and honestly, you shouldn't take it easy on him and allow him to explain himself. I already tried that over a year ago, and now he's back to his same bad habits. The same bad habits that Soul of an Artist defended because that guy's as big of a retard as Flip. Yeah, it's embarrassing. May God have mercy on his soul.